Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today I have a special message for anyone that came across this. I want to remind you that your perception of yourself affects your vibe. So this is your reminder to pay attention to the thoughts you think about yourself. Go from self-hardness to self-kindness. Your life doesn't get better by chance, but by change, my friends. So I just want to remind you, things will not get better by itself. It's how you choose to see things. It's what you choose to do with whatever is happening in your life. It's all about the action you take with what you've perceived, right? But we all know that most of our action comes from our attitude we have towards ourselves. And the attitude we have towards ourselves is called the self-image, right? How we see ourselves, how we think about ourselves. So you need to remind yourself that when you change your perception about yourself, your energy level will change. It will decrease or increase. Depends of what you choose to change in your attitude towards yourself. So why this topic is so important today? Because many of us are moving through major upgrades and changes in our lives, and of course the whole world is changing, and we've been presented to so many different things that are happening at the same time. So the first thing that we actually have control over is our attitude towards ourselves. So we can decide, okay, what this event is teaching me, because many of us are wounded because of our childhood, our conditioning, everything we've been through. But there are always two different approaches of how can we look at our past. One is to find reasons to be wounded, and one is to find reasons to grow, to be wiser, right? When you look at your past and you say, well, my mother was like this and that's why I'm like this. Or you can say, this is what I've learned from my mother, right? It's a completely different story. Because now you look for empowerment from your past. Now you see how to be better than your past was, right? How to upgrade the DNA of your ancestors. How to heal the wounds and actually get hidden wisdom from them, because that's the purpose of wounds. Wounds are important. All the hurts are important because they open up something that was closed before. You know what happens to closed-minded people? They act like they know everything. That's why they are closed for everything, right? That's why they experience nothing new. But for open-minded people, and that's a virtue of being open-minded, when you're open-minded, you're open for everything. And often when we're open for everything, we may easily get hurt, right? But eventually we learn so many new things. So we are kinda willing to get hurt just for the reason to learn from those hurts. Because that's what eventually will help us to grow the most. So eventually we'll go way beyond people who act like they know everything. And there's no egoistic reasons behind that, like why you want to do that, like why you want to go beyond them. But the only purpose is that's how to grow with the flow of nature, right? Because nature is constantly growing, and therefore it is constantly changing and evolving. I've noticed in our garden this year how many new flowers started growing out of nothing because we haven't planted them. But last year we let everything just to be. We said, well, let's nature plant itself. And this year we can find so many new colors on our garden. It happened naturally. That's how nature works, because it's constantly open for new. It's constantly open for new growth. But we tend to close ourselves down because we don't want to get hurt. That's why it's so important to look at hurts of life through a perspective of a wise teacher, or in other words, of a teacher of wisdom. To see what this event is teaching me. Okay, I got hurt. Okay, I did something wrong and I got hurt and I've experienced a sense of shame. And maybe people were laughing at you or whatever happened. But what have you learned? Reflect on that. I often say to that go home and reflect on what happened. How you felt in that event. What was happening in your body? Was there a sensation of boiling water, when a hidden anger comes to the surface and you can't hide it? You get aroused out of negative attitude and you want to protect yourself, but you've stayed true to your integrity and you said, well, I will not do anything that is against my intention. But I want to learn something from this experience because next time I want to be better. That's what it means, They say diamonds are created under the heavy pressure. And often people use that story that pressure can break you or make you a diamond. So what it means that a diamond in this story is a person who becomes really helpful for society. Someone who becomes really, really helpful for society. That's what pressure can make us, to become really practical, really helpful, really compassionate, really kind. Because we develop a kindness towards ourselves. We go from self-hardness to self-kindness, something I've mentioned at the beginning. And that requires a change in the self-image. And in order to change your self-image, which means a picture you have of yourself, a story you have of yourself, you firstly need to recognize how it is right now. What is your current self-image? What is your current story of yourself? And why it is making you feel like there's something wrong with you. Why it is making you feel like there's something wrong with you. Because there's nothing wrong with you. And my friend, I want to remind you, it's not your fault that you think that way. It is not your fault. You may think that you're the broken one. You may think that something is missing. And yes, something is missing. A certain piece of the puzzle called the real you. Yes, that's missing. It's called knowledge, realization, clarity is missing. But it can be found by being hard on yourself. So I said, it's not your fault that you're so hard on yourself. It's because you needed to be in the past to survive, to go to where you are today. But right now, you can let it go. Right now, you can let it go. You can let go of that self-hardness. Because it's time to level up. It's time to get to the next level, where you notice that what you need is clarity. Right? What you need is realization, not hardness. Right? Remember how soft water can be, but it can shape rocks, right? Have you noticed that? When you go at the beach, you can notice all the rocks they have no sharp edges often. They've been shaped by the water. And look at the water, it feels so gentle, right? That's what gentleness can do. When you become more gentle towards yourself. And when you get hard on yourself, pause a little bit. Something irritated you, it's all okay. Something triggered you, it's all okay. Those are usually the reasons we like to distract ourselves, and distraction is action away to where we want to go. So make sure that rather than distracting yourself because of those unpleasant sensations, you stop. Take a piece of paper and ask yourself what is happening within me, and try to write it down as precisely as you can. See what will come out of your mind. Body will speak through your mind. See what is coming out. See how well can you articulate what's coming out of your body. That's how to talk with your body. You can become your own therapist, your own coach, your own teacher. You can study your body and it will tell you what you need to know. And eventually it will make you more kinder person, because you will become more kind towards yourself, and therefore you will become more kind towards others as well, because that's how everything works. It all starts within, and then it starts spreading all around us, right? And I want to remind you, if your heart is pure, you're going to win in the end, no matter what. Always remember that. You're going to win. So this is your reminder for today. You're about to win. Take care of your self-image. Don't be so hard on yourself. And remember, whoever you are right now, whatever you are, it's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself. But it's up on you. What will you do with that? It's all on you. What will you do with that? So remember what Aristotle said. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. So whatever you are intending to do, you need to make sure that you will be consistent at that, so we can develop a habit out of that new practice, new pattern. So we can grow this new pattern some deep roots, right? Nurture yourself the way you want to be nurtured. And once again, remember that if your heart is pure, you will win at the end. My friends, I'm sending you all lots of love, blessings, and power. I hope you've enjoyed in this one. I hope you found some value in it. And I hope today's painting inspired you to do something great today, to be creative, to stay magnificent, to follow your inner wisdom. Until next time, one love.